This is what came with the trolley, and when I try to put it on the hook, this hole is not big enough. So I'm going to make a new one. So you get to see the whole process today of designing it in Fusion 360 and cutting it out on the plasma table and getting it up on the trolley. Hello, and welcome back to my channel. When I need a new part, I go to my computer and I open Fusion 360. After it opens, it looks like this. To make this part, I'm not concerned about naming anything, so I start in the upper left and open a sketch. Now that I'm cutting out my part on the plasma table, I pick the XY plane and start with a circle. I just drag it out and type 1.0 and hit enter. Then I click my offset tool and make another circle, and we'll make it 0.75. Now, for the hole where the hook goes through, we need another circle. This one will make 2 inches. Back to the offset tool, add some meat to the bottom of the part, and we'll make this 0.75. I want to make this hole opening oblong, so I need another circle for the top and smaller. I'll make it 1.5 inches. I need the top and bottom circles to be 3 inches apart. I hit D for dimension, click on each center, and drag out and type 3 inches. I don't like where the middle circle is, so I need to make it 1 inch center to center from the bottom circle. Well, I did something wrong. The dimension over-constrains the sketch. Because I'm still a beginner at this kind of thing, I do what works for me. I'll just get rid of the circle and make a new one. There you go. Easy peasy. You know, I don't like the way it looks. I think I'm going to change my measurement of the offsets to 1/2 inch. That looks a lot better. Now, we'll make some lines to connect the circles. Click on the line tool, then click the start of the line, then click the end of the line. I want the lines to be tangent to the circles, so I go to the tangent tool, then click the line, and then click the circle, and then the line will snap into place. Notice the tangent constraint. Then again for the other side. Sometimes if you put the line in the right place, it'll constrain itself. Now, it's just a matter of getting rid of all the lines I don't need using my scissors. But before I go too far, I need to make the inside lines. I do the same as I did on the outside. Then snip out a few more lines. This finishes all my lines, but the drawing is not fully constrained. I have tried to figure out how to know what I need to do to make it fully constrained, but all the YouTube channels I've been watching, they don't tell me what I need to know. So I just finish the sketch and move on. It works for me. After finishing the sketch, I extrude the part to see what it looks like. Click the part, hit E for extrude, and I'll make it a 1/2 inch. Looks good to me. Now we're through with the design phase, so now click the upper, drop down, and the manufacturer tab. The default is metric, so I need to change that. Then I click the setup tab, and that brings up this window on the right. By clicking the bottom left corner, it brings it to the XY arrows to that corner. That will determine the starting point when I put the piece of metal on the plasma table. After that, I click to mark the body and hit OK. Next is the cutting operation. A window pops up to the right. First step in the cutting is to pick the tool. I click on the library. Right now I have 2 tools set up, a 15 and an 8. I name my tools for the cutting speed I want to use to make the cut. For this cut, I will use 8 inches per minute. Then hit select. Next, I need to set up the geometry of the cut. I bring the arrow to the line that needs to be cut and then click on it. When I do that, an arrow pops up showing the cut will be on the inside of the hole. Then I do the same thing for the large hole and then the outside of the body. Now you get this image and it shows the cuts and the order that they'll be performed, starting with the small hole, moving to the large hole, then the outside of the body. It looks good. So next I click the G-code button and it will generate a G-code. At this point, all I do is give the code a name. For this program, I'll call it Trolley. And then click Post. Next, I need to put my G-code on a thumb drive so I can load it in the computer in the shop. I go to my Documents, Fusion 360, NC Programs. Then you see a list of all the programs that I have saved. Look for Trolley, copy and paste it to the thumb drive. Okay, I got my thumb drive. Stick it in my computer back there. Now, this is where I have my computer right now to run my plasma cutter. It's just a temporary setup. When I get my shop all organized and the way I want it, I hope to have my computer in this screen on a rolling cart, and then I'll just run it to the front of the plasma cutter, do my work, and then put it back out of the way when I'm done. So now let me show you how to set up the plasma cutter. All right, to run one of these plasma cutters, you really need dry air. So I have a small air unit here, so I plug my main air supply into that, And of course, when I get my shop going, this will all be permanently plumbed into my air system and I won't have to do this step. After I plug this in, I take another line and plug it in here, and it goes to my plasma cutter. So the other end of the hose is here. And this is my plasma cutter, and this is my control box for controlling the plasma, the CNC machine. When I use old rusty pieces like this, it's easier to clean them up before I cut them out while they're still big instead of little bitty. So let me clean up both sides of this. When I set the plate on the machine, for this small piece here, it's not that critical that it's square with the cut of the machine because it's such a small part. But if I was cutting out a real long part, I would spend a lot of time squaring this up with the travel of the machine. So I'm just going to set it on there like that. For a lot of people, and most occasions, you can just clamp anywhere on here and you'll get a ground. But for me, I like to clamp the actual piece that I'm cutting. I think it keeps a better ground and the machine won't stop if it loses continuity. Now it's time to fire up the computer and run the CNC. Go to the fire control and double click. This is a program by Langmuir Systems, the same company that I bought the CNC table from. Now, I load the G-code by clicking the green arrow. Then, I open up the USB drive, open up the Trolley G-code, and you see the part on the screen. The blue line will show the path of the cutting head. It will start at the top of the bottom hole. After it cuts the hole, it will move to the top hole, then to the outside of the part. Next, I need to run my cutting tip to the bottom left of my workpiece. I start by clicking 200 inches per minute button. Then, by clicking on the XY button at the bottom right of the screen, I move the head into position. When the head is in the correct position, I click on Zero All Axis button. At this point, I'm ready to cut. Hit the enable, the torch, and click start. All right, everything looks good. What I like to do is I like to move my machine back. That way it's always back out of the way, because if I want to do something here, and my machine will be in the way. Now, the next trick is to get this out without burning yourself. Plus, this was 1/2 inch material. That's about the limit of my machine. So it might not have cut all the way through, but got those holes out. So let me see if I can knock it out. Got it. All right, I got it out, but as you can see, got a lot of dross back here to clean up. And also on these real thick pieces, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but it cuts it kind of at an angle. But that's just the way plasma cutting works, and I'll just try to grind that square, and that's just the way it goes. So let me cool this thing off and then start cleaning it up. All right, I got it cooled off, just a matter of putting the water hose on it. Now this dross, sometimes you can just knock it off with a hammer, but sometimes I like just trying to use my channel locks. But this doesn't look like it's gonna, there it goes. See how it just falls off? And what I can't get off in this technique, I'll just grind it off. So let me set up a grinder. Got my piece all ground up, but I can still feel some burrs on there, so I'm going to take my little sanding machine here and clean it up. All right, we're going to start off with a little bit of primer. I don't have any blue because I'm not going to use that pump blue. If you saw that video, what a stupid move that was. Anyway, we're going to start off with primer and then I'll go with black. Wow. That was fast. I think I got it. 1 hour later. That's pretty. All right, my paint's dry. I'm ready to hang my hoist. My plan is to put this on top of one of my rolling scaffolds. Then I just barely have to lift it up. So I just roll it under the trolley, hang it on. Uh-oh. My scaffold don't fit under my beam. I got to come up with a new plan. Might sound a little crazy, but I'm going to use my rack to lift that hoist up into position. Okay, now I have my rack on jack stands. I have to figure out how to position this on the rack so it can stay on there without falling off. So let me get some boards and give it a shot. Now the question is, should I strap it down or trust it'll stay on?
I'd strap it.
Yeah, I think I better strap it. Might be hard to see on the screen, but I got one hoist at that end, another hoist at this end. We'll lift the whole thing up, push it under, but I got to put my trolley on first. Let me do that, and we'll be ready to go. Let's get closer while we can hold it. Good enough? have to get down a step. Well, this ain't gonna be the easiest thing. Well, I thought I had a good plan, but this hook is so big, we might have to go to plan B and already have it on the hook and then put the bolt in. So, plan B, I think we don't have to take the bolt out completely.
Yeah, just half of it.
Just sort of, yeah, sort of separate it, put it in, then I put my half on. All right, I'm handling this half.
All right.
You handle that half. Uh-oh, you're gonna be in a bind? I gotta go.
You got that for now?
Yep. All right, tell you what, hook it. Let's take it off the trolley and hook it. I didn't handle my half. Goes there.
And then, yeah, I don't think I'm on the small wheels yet.
Do what?
Small wheels? The inner wheels? The shit that hangs on the beam? I think I'm on the outer.
I got you. I think we got it. All right, got it on the hook. Let me go down with this and see what happens. Gonna knock me off the scaffold, what's gonna happen? All right, it's hanging. Good job. Well, that completes this job and this video. I just wanted to show you an example of how you can think of something that you need to cut out with the plasma machine, draw it up on Fusion 360, cut it out, and you have a working part. And I needed this part because there was no way this hook was going to hang on that other little part. So there you go. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time on My Retired Life.